guys! For this week's video, I'm going to be doing a little product review for you. This will be on the Mission White Class 34 Gouache and Watercolor Hybrid Set. I mentioned that I was going to be getting this set in my most recent art supply haul, and I got a lot of comments and people saying that they wanted me to do a review of these since there is basically no information here on YouTube about these watercolors / gouache paints. So I thought I would do a little product review and talk about what I've learned about them and how my experience with using them went and what I think about them. So I'm going to get started with my little review while the demo is going. So for starters, I'll talk about what these paints actually are. According to Mijello, they are a hybrid between watercolors and gouache. Watercolors and gouache are fairly similar products. Gouache tends to be more opaque and more matte and better for layering and doing like poster work and illustration and stuff, and watercolor is obviously watercolor, whatever. These are marketed as a hybrid of both, and I can definitely say from using them they are a hybrid of both. It's very strange. This first layer that I'm doing, the background layer, I wanted to do more of a wash kind of work just to see how they worked and blended as a wash, and they did work very similar to watercolors. They wetted down really easily and mixed together just like a watercolor would, and I was very pleased that they actually did perform similarly to a watercolor. But for most of this illustration I ended up trying to use them more like a gouache because I felt like they seem to be they're more like a gouache than they are a watercolor, but they still have enough properties that I would consider using them as watercolors as well. And as I said, this is a set of 34 colors. They're in 15 milliliter tubes. I bought this set from Amazon from a seller called Crush On. They were $87 for the full set. The set does not come with a black or a white, so if you want to use them like gouache, or you like to use black and white when you paint with watercolors, those two, I guess colors, the black and the white, will have to be purchased separately. I purchased mine on eBay, and they come in really, really big tubes. I think they're like 100 milliliters as opposed to the 15 for the colors, just because I think they figure when you're using them as gouache, you're using more black and white, which I liked that they came in larger tubes just for that purpose. As I said, I purchased these off of Amazon from the seller called Crush On. I will leave a link in the video description below to that product that I purchased if you are interested in trying it out yourself. I definitely like them and recommend trying them out if you're interested in a product like this. And I would also recommend the seller Crush On. I've bought several things from them on Amazon, and they always pack things really well and ship things really quickly and blah blah blah. But they're really great, so yeah, there'll be a link down in the video description below, because these actually, the Mission White Class, are pretty hard to find. Not many places sell them. I know Blick doesn't sell them, Jerry's doesn't sell them. You can find them on eBay and some other stores, but I just bought mine on Amazon. These paints are very vibrant. I think that's one of the things I like most about them. They're very similar in vibrancy to the Mission Gold Class and the Mission Silver Class, which I have used both of, and they have the same like pigment amount. They're very, very saturated. They blend together really, really, really well, and I really like the Mission Class, any of them, the paints that they make. Like, I love the watercolors. They're really great. One of the things that I liked most about these paints were how well they layered on top of each other. Some brands of gouache that I've used in the past have had a difficult time layering their lights on top of darks. I didn't find that I had any issue layering my lights and darks with these paints. The lights laid perfectly over the darks without blending together or smearing or pulling up the paint that was already underneath. So that was a big bonus for me, and definitely something that really puts this type of paint like higher up on my list as opposed to like other types of gouache that I've used. Another thing that I was really curious about was how easily they re-wet if they were put into a palette. I didn't put my watercolors, or these watercolor gouache paints, into a palette yet, but I'm going to in the future. I just used a porcelain plate and used them one day, left them sitting overnight, and then came back the next day and reused the colors that were still on the palette. They re-wet very easily and they still worked as gouache instead of more like turning more into a watercolor. I've never used gouache like that has pre-dried on a palette before, so I was really curious to see how well that worked, and they worked exactly the same as if they had just been squeezed freshly from the tube. I would recommend always using your white straight out of a tube though. The white worked fine, I just like the fresher looking white squeezed straight out of a tube. Overall, I would definitely recommend checking out the Mission White class paints if you are interested in a watercolor gouache hybrid. I liked them a lot, and I think that the colors are really, really beautiful, and they just work really well as either a gouache or a watercolor. So it's kind of like having the best of both worlds. And as I said, I'll have a link to this product in the video description down below. If you're looking to purchase this, I highly recommend purchasing from the seller Crush On. This isn't sponsored, by the way, I just have purchased quite a few things from that seller and want to give them a little shout out because they have never done me wrong. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you liked this little demo and product review. If you'd like to see more videos from me, give me a like. It helps support my channel a lot. And subscribe if you haven't already. And I will see you guys in a little while for the next video. Bye!